Deepak Kumar says, hello Mehran from Facebook. Says, why is it easy to think of past and remain in that loop? Why we just can't think of future? Well, because the mind is not like your physical parts of your body who has a place in your body. Your finger is here, your ears are here, your arm is hung to your upper arm and then to your shoulder. Your legs, you know where they are. Your eyes and nose and mouth and tongue. You know everything where they are in your physical portion of your entity. But your mind doesn't have a place in your body. You haven't trained it, which in my book, Me, My Psyche and I, there's an elaborate section of meditation which tells you mind needs a home and you got to give it that home, just like any other part of your body that it is in your body. Mind wants to know, where should I be? When it doesn't, it's like gypsy, it goes around, and this is what I'm about to say happens to it. Because mind doesn't have a place, mind finds its security, its place to reside and feel good about itself and feel secure in an order. Why do you think all these people join the army, join organizations that tells them what to do? Because it gives them an order and their mind feels calm, secure, and stops worrying, stop looking for trouble, because that's the job of the mind, to look for trouble. When there is no trouble, it conjures it up. So if he doesn't have an order, where he finds his security, is going to be constantly agitated. So where is that order? Order is in your experiences that had order, which is recorded in your memory. Because you don't have that, you haven't created that order now with the way your lifestyle is, or if you're not in a relationship and that's where you were getting your order, or the order has broken up and you kind of don't really have the routine that you had before. So where do you find it? You find it in the memory. That's why you're not in the memory to have fun. You're in the memory because while you're thinking about those things, you remember about the old relationship, the way the things were in the past, and that's where your mind finds an order which resides. So you keep going in there to feel comfortable. Now, if you create a new order for yourself, now, in the now, while you're living in the present moment, then your mind wouldn't be going into the memory. You wouldn't be thinking about the past so much. And of course, it is easy to go in the past on the different tangents of your question. Because the past is the field of the known. Your whole consciousness and the whole window to the world, to life, is through a limited collection of information, which is a limited window. So in other words, just like when you put virtual reality goggles on your head, limits the field of your vision, focuses you on what is the only thing that you can see in that goggle, whether it's game or movie, to the point that you become one with that scene. And if the actor is falling over a cliff, you actually believe it and you start being scared. Your consciousness is acting like the virtual reality goggle on your head. In other words, it's accumulated and limited your field of vision to a certain known information that you have been conditioned since childhood through your religion, nationality, culture, customs, books you read, things you got educated, teachers, stuff that they taught you, the rules and regulations of the society you're raised in, the dogmas and some of the information that through your genes from the ancestors you received. All that has created that virtual reality goggle, your consciousness. Through that filter of your consciousness, you're dealing with the world. And all of that information is your own knowledge, field of the known, the stuff that you can have access to deal with the stuff that you don't know about. So you're dealing with the stuff that you don't know about with the stuff that you do know, but they're in the past. They're all in your memory, and memory is the past. And that's where you go to find whatever it is that you can get your hands on to deal with whatever it is that you have to deal with in your present moment of life. There is nowhere else you can get that information. Now, why we just can't think of the future? In order to do that, you got to get your thoughts out of the consciousness, because all thoughts are born in the field of the known, from the consciousness. And you're limited to thinking about what you have experienced, therefore you're perceiving everything. In fact, the way you're living is a second-hand living, because you look at something and then you search for that experience with this something if you had it in the past. So you go into the memory while you're looking at that thing and you find something similar, and then you try to describe and explain whatever experience you're having right now, present moment, with a knowledge that you bring in from the past, similar and in regards to this experience. Let's say an apple tree that you see the apple tree, but then you go into memory and you remember, oh, there was an apple tree I saw such and such place, and the apples were bigger than this, and the color was in. Now no longer you're having an interaction with this apple tree, you're now seeing this apple tree overexposed with the information you have with the other from the other apple tree that you experienced in the past, which is interfering with your experience of now. But later on, maybe a month later, you see another apple tree. You may actually, in perceiving and in dealing with that apple tree, you could be remembering the experience of today, not necessarily the one before, or both of them. So you will be aware of the experience you had with this apple tree, which was a week ago or so. Which means you're always one step behind if you constantly deal with your life by perceiving the experiences that you're dealing with at that moment, by going into your mind and so on. So the idea is to try to not perceive things, but observe them as they are, as they affect you, firsthand. Full attention to what that is, not that I have a similar experience of what I'm dealing with in the past, and suddenly you're taken in the past and you're no longer here and you don't get the full effect of this experience. So for that means you got to learn how to take your thoughts out of the consciousness, which means you got to be fully paying attention to what it is that you're experiencing at the moment that you're experiencing it as what it is, without leaning on or counting on the previous information. Of course, for many things you cannot discard the importance of the previous information. Like you're driving, you're recognizing things and doing mathematics or creating something which is based on the knowledge that you came up with in the past, and all these things. We're not talking about this. We're talking about the things that you become lazy, and instead of being one with it, seeing it as it is, you simply perceive it and make it easy, which is tapping into the field of the known, which by being in the field of the known and using that information available to you in your memory, you feel you're part of the field of the known, which brings you that elusive psychological security, that order, that the mind is not confused. It's got some information about something that puts him at ease and makes him feel safe, because there is safety in knowledge. And when you don't know about something, you still want to be safe. Where do you find that? You find it in the perceptions, the stuff that you already have in your memory. So you're constantly running into your memory. Therefore, you end up dealing with things based on the past, which would mean you miss the actual experience that you could have with that, whatever it is you're dealing with, and you miss the new information. That's what you may be looking for, the future thinking, or the seed for it. It's a little bit more elaborate discussion, but I think I should tap it here. Otherwise, it could go on for another half an hour. All right.